What's up, everybody? Title of our first story is I, 29 male, moved abroad to be with my partner, 32 female, and she had an affair. This is a bit of a story, so please bear with me, as I believe context is important. I moved to a foreign country to be with my longtime girlfriend. We were both always so eager to get out of our home country. We have been dating for 5 years and living together for four, and it had always been the main topic that we had been talking about ever since we had met. We had looked at immigration options multiple times. One day, she received a job offer to move to Ireland. We both agreed this would be the best move for our future. Our relationship was so amazing, and we were extremely happy back home. We never kept any secrets, and our phones were always open to one another. I can tell you at that point, we had only had two big arguments in our relationship. Communication was open and good. Because I was the more financially stable one, I paid for her immigration to Ireland. I've always assisted her in bad financial situations. I paid for her car on multiple occasions, and during COVID, I provided for our household while she was unable to work. She moved over on October 22nd, and we spoke every day when we were apart. She made a surprise visit for my birthday on January 23rd, where she was acting very strange and different to her normal self. She sat me down one day and said, "I am having doubts in our relationship." I was totally blindsided by this statement, and the first thing I asked her was, "Are you seeing someone else?" She said to me she wasn't, and that being alone for the past few months had changed her. Needless to say, we worked through it, and in that week my job offer was finalized, and I had applied for my working permit. Fast forward to April of 23, and I have sold everything I had owned, had a massive party with all my friends and family, as I said goodbye to go and start my life abroad with the love of my life. I gave up everything I had to make this dream, our dream, a reality that we had been speaking about ever since the day we met. Before I had arrived, she had made a group of friends in the small town she was staying in. One person in particular, we will call him Dave, stood out among the rest. I am not a jealous guy, and I have complete trust in my significant other, and in fact I was happy she was making friends. Once I arrived, she got us a small little apartment in the town next to where she was working, and so our new life had begun. As the weeks went on, she was acting strange. Whenever I would pick her phone up to change a song, she would grab her phone from hands and be very aggressive about it too. I thought it was strange, but didn't invest too much thought into it. She started making comments towards me about being boring, a person who had taken the biggest leap of their life. Yeah, boring. And one day, whilst I was telling her about my interest, she told me that she didn't care about it. This was the third time we ever had a massive argument. I was in a foreign country with no one I knew, and the only person there didn't care about the things that made me happy. I was very hurt to say the least, and by this point I was growing suspicious that something was up. One day when I got home from work, we sat down and I asked her about her day, and she told me that she went for a hike, but it was only her and Dave, which to me seemed a little strange to go hiking with just another guy. So I questioned it, and she got extremely angry and said, "Why are you so jealous? Me and Dave are best friends. I do not see him in that way." She made me feel like such an arsehole for bringing it up, and I didn't question it again. A few weeks later, I came home from work and she was sitting on the couch. She immediately asked me to join her because she wanted to talk about something. When I sat down, she looked at me and started crying and said, "I cheated on you." My heart sank when I heard those words. It was after you had arrived only once, and it happened on a night out. I tried to get more information from her, but she refused to tell me. I immediately accused Dave. She refused to admit it and said it wasn't him, and even if it was, she would not tell me. That evening we went to bed, and it was horrible. I felt like I was laying next to a stranger that I had just met. The next day at work, I was completely out of it. I had asked my manager if I could take the rest of the day off and told her what was going on. She told me to take a few days off to clear my head. God bless her. I arrived home early, to my surprise that my girlfriend wasn't home. This put my suspicions through the roof, as we always tell each other where we are going, so that if something happens, we can be aware of where each person was at the time. I couldn't take it anymore, and I opened the laptop that we shared, went into her profile, and opened up her Messenger app. I found no messages with Dave, as they had all been deleted, just a few calls between the two of them, but I noticed that she was texting her friend back home. She had confessed to her friend that she and Dave had been sleeping together before I had arrived in the country, and it was ongoing while I was there, and that she had fallen in love with him. I read these texts and my heart just shattered. I became the lowest form of myself that I had ever been, and I just started crying. I truly have never felt pain like that in years. The best way I can describe it is like losing a loved one. I was broken. I called her and told her I knew about the affair. She rushed home to speak to me. I asked her why. She couldn't tell me why. I asked her why didn't she come clean with me back home before I uprooted my life. She said, "I didn't want to hurt you." She said she needed some time to think about everything, and she left. Over the next few days, she would come over as I was having mental breakdowns, to see if I was doing okay. At this point, my life was over. I had given up everything for nothing. Later that week, I asked her to come over so we could talk. We sat down and I told her that I was completely willing to compromise regarding the entire situation. I would sleep on the couch while we work through this, as I have sacrificed so much to be with her. And I love her more than I love life itself. I will give her the space that she needs to heal and get clarity, and she was very on board with this idea. However, the only thing I ask of her is that Dave is not a part of her life anymore. Numbers are deleted, and that person is out of your life. It's me, a person that has given her everything he has, that has been there when she was at her lowest and uplifted her, a person that pushed her to get her qualification, that stood by her in hardship and tragedy, and made our dreams come true, or him man she has known for a few months who is seizing the opportunity to have a F-buddy and has a notorious reputation for being one. And she looked me dead in the eye and said she can't make that choice. So we ended it. God knows how this has broken me as a person. Needless to say, she has received a lot of negative feedback from not only her friends and family back home, but from everyone who knows us. Even the local people in the town have ostracized her for what she had done. My landlord even said to me that he would outright refuse to rent our place to her if she were to stay, and I had to leave. But that's a whole other story of the community I live in. This happened 2 months ago, and we have spoken since then. She has expressed recently how deeply regretful she is of what she had done and how sorry she is for everything. How we both wish we could have our old lives back and just be happy again like we were. She has said she is mentally in the wrong space and she isn't seeing anyone, and she needs to focus on herself. We can't get back together because my friends and family hate her for what she has done. But I love her. I miss her. She's the only person I know here that knows me. I have never been so alone in my life, and I'm afraid. I feel no one has been in this situation before, and the advice comes from people who have a support system to help them. I don't. Do I forgive her and make it work again? Take the heat from everyone in my life and seize my happiness with her. This entire future was planned with her in mind. We all make mistakes. Should the repercussions be detrimental to our happiness? Or do I move on? And if so, how? How do you move on when your entire world has been shattered into a million pieces? Damn. After all this, how can he even think about getting back with her? He gave everything up for her, and she couldn't even give up her F-buddy. If he takes her back, he deserves everything that'll happen next. And next, the second story. I broke my marriage. Need advice on how to fix the damage, or is it completely destroyed? I'm a wreck right now and don't know what to do. Me, 40 female, and my husband, 39 male, married young and were each other's first. We have been married for nearly 18 years. We have 2 children, 19 female, 18 male, and both of them have moved out and are living their life. Due to COVID, I lost my job in February and got a new one in August. During this time, my husband had to do more work so that his job must be secured, so he was more distant due to his job. In my new job, I developed a crush on one of the young guys, 25 male, and started feeling excited. Nothing was wrong in our marriage, and I still don't know why I had those feelings for that guy. I might be insecure about myself. I started arguing with my husband for no reason and blamed him for everything wrong. At that time, I thought of everything possible to be upset with my husband. As in our country, restrictions on COVID were removed in late August, so I started going out with my friends. I also started flirting with the young boy. In early September, I suggested open marriage to spice up our relationship. I told him that I wanted to have fun and suggested he do the same. I told him that our 20s and 30s went by just looking upon kids, and now we should enjoy ourselves. He was completely against it. He said that marriage is not a joke and is a special bond between two. At that time, I was having a different mindset and told him how he had to change with new lifestyle and how old-fashioned he is. He was still against it. So I started manipulating him and threatened to divorce. He finally agreed to open our relationship. For the first month, I hooked up with that guy and had several one-night stands. My husband also started dating, but never slept with anyone. In October, I started realizing that most men never took care of my needs and pleasure. My husband was the only one who took care of my needs. The idea of sleeping with other men was short-lived, and I stopped it. I started having sex with my husband again and felt great. We were still dating other people. He was dating his high school friend and also had several sexual encounters with her after a month of dating. I started feeling jealous because of him dating her and still sleeping with her. In mid-November, I suggested to once again close our marriage and be monogamous. He was adamant that he would not do it. We had lots of fights. We argued a lot, but he didn't change his decision. He was still going over to her house and spending nights over there. This situation was like a torture to me. I had to spend the night alone in our marital home, on our marital bed, knowing that he was with another woman and was entertaining her. On the 28th of November, I tried to off myself because the emotional trauma was exceeding my limits. I was rushed to hospital by my husband, and this led to him change his decision. He agreed to close our marriage again. I was a bit relieved. I thought we would recover pretty quickly from this phase of life. But hell, I was wrong. He still thought about her. He even bought her a gift for her birthday. He wanted to go to her house to give her the present. I agreed to let him go to her house on the condition that I would be going with him. We arrived at her house. Her house was pretty big and looked really expensive. We arrived at the door and she opened the gate. She took the gift and gave a hug to my husband in front of me. I got pissed and wanted to leave. She invited us for drinks, but I refused and we came back home. Last night, when we were having sex and he was just about to climax, he finished off while saying her name. I was pissed about it. I felt humiliated and was angry that he was thinking about her during sex also. He was sorry for this, but said that he's still confused regarding her. He ended up sleeping on the couch. This morning he said that he cannot live like this. He wanted some space from me and that he would be moving out for some days to clear his mind. I agreed to it because I had no other option. In the afternoon, my friend sent me a pic of him at her house. She lives nearby and saw him at her door. I was devastated and called him. He answered and told me that we were on break so we could see other people. It's been 5 hours and I am a wreck right now. He is not able to forget her and it's ruining our relationship. I know that I already destroyed most of the marriage, but now I am going to do anything to fix it. I have written everything unbiasedly so that you can give me some advice. I literally don't know what I'm writing and seeking from writing here, but I cannot share this with our children. I have realized how much he loved me unconditionally, and I don't want to throw away our 20 years together. Any advice on how to make him change his decision? She wanted the freedom to cheat without being labeled a cheater. She thought she could eat her cake while her husband would be busy with work. Now it blew up in her face. She had a faithful husband. Now he wants to be faithful with someone else. And now to the update. Since my last post, most of you have bashed me over my bad choices, and I know I deserve this. It's been 3 days, and my husband has not contacted me. Yesterday, our kids came home for Christmas weekend. They have asked me about their dad. I told them that we had a fight and he is staying at a hotel. Then they called him to request him to come home. He picked up the phone and kids told him that he should not behave like this and should not ruin their Christmas because of a small fight. He hung up on the phone and about an hour ago called me. He said that if I didn't come clean about my infidelity to our kids, there would be no chance that he would come on Christmas. I am in a troubled situation. If I come clean, kids would go to their father and he will manipulate them, and I would be alone for Christmas. And if I don't come clean, I would spend my Christmas with my kids, but later on they will find out the truth and would blame me for absence of their father on Christmas. She manipulated her husband. Now she is worried he will manipulate the kids? She is trying to act like a victim when she is not. And that's the end of today's saga. Dear viewers, don't forget to press like and subscribe so you never miss out. Until next time, bye-bye.